Hello, it is Saturday, February 26th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is, of course, a Saturday puzzle, so it's our second of two themeless puzzles of the week, and very possibly the most difficult crossword of the week without qualifier. So we'll have to see. I thought yesterday's was tough for a Friday. It seemed as though many people agreed. I don't think that was an uncommon opinion. So it could mean it's a tough week in general, and this is another difficult one today, or it could mean, as I think it often does, that maybe this is compensatorily a little bit easier. I don't know. There really isn't any way to know. We'll just have to see. Whichever way it goes, this edition of the Daily Solve is brought to you by Jordan Larson, Michael H., and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster. So thank you so much to the three of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign. And if you'd like to support the Patreon campaign as well as a benefactor and get access to that recognition as well as the Let's Check the Crosses Daily Solve official mug, you can find that at patreon.com/dailysolve. But at whatever level, if you do support the Patreon, which is the way to help make this series a sustainable part of my daily work, at any level, you do get access to all of the videos that have gone up to date. Oh, I just realized I completely missed the speed solve yesterday. I need to do the weekly mini puzzle speed solve. I had an incredibly busy day yesterday, so I didn't have time to do that. I will get to that this weekend. Sorry about that. And we're coming up on the end of the month, which means soon it'll be ticking over. We'll have a new monthly bonus puzzle and a new crossword Constructor's Corner video. We might have to do two of those this month. It seems like the Constructor's Corner channel and the Daily Solve Discord chat server is packed with community-created crosswords, so I'll have to figure out how to do that. Anyway, if you remain to the end of the video, there will be some discussion of yesterday's clues. There were quite a few because it was a tricky puzzle, but let's move on to today's crossword. This is, of course, a Saturday puzzle constructed by Ori Bryan. Ori Bryan has constructed a handful of puzzles for the New York Times before, so an experienced constructor, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's get started. The symbol of the National Audubon Society. So this is bird. It'll be bird related. What is the symbol of the National Audubon Society? Is it a robin? That's sort of a classic bird, and it would fit in 5 letters. I don't know though. 4 down. Blank, I again behold my Romeo. Oh, could it be ere I again behold my Romeo, before I again behold my Romeo? That seems likely. From Romeo and Juliet, obviously, by Shakespeare. Pianist, composer, Schumann. Well, if this is an R, it could be, Clara Schumann. She was a very noted composer, so that's possible. And what about, assuming those are both true, I am sort of putting a bit of speculation on top of a bit of speculation, but I think Claire's a pretty good guess. There are really only 2 likely answers for Schumann, and one of them doesn't fit this number of letters, so I think it must be Clara. Anyway, green research site down. Could be an eco lab, maybe. And stick on. I mean, it could be slap on, but it won't be because we're not going to repeat on from the clue to the answer. That doesn't happen. Not in the New York Times anyway. That sort of thing might happen in a cryptic crossword, but not in the New York Times. Oh, it's an egret, maybe. Actually, now that I'm not deeply familiar with the National Audubon Society, but now that I have that in there, I do think the National Audubon Society's symbol, I think their logo is one of those sort of wading water birds standing on one leg. I do think that's the case. And an egret could very, very easily be one of those. So that does seem like the answer. Let's check this going down. Stick on. Oh, glue to. You could stick something onto something else. You could glue it to that thing. Boho chic furniture material. So I guess bohemian chic furniture material. Is it rattan, the sort of reed? I guess that's getting at a kind of rustic kind of look, the sort of thing you might have in a cabin. But the boho chic meaning, this is the version of it that a particular sort of hip young person might have in their urban apartment. Okay, not much could be a tad. Chief magistrates in Italian history. Probably the Doge of Venice. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. Not the modern, not the modern online meme that inspired the Dogecoin cryptocurrency, but rather the historical Venetian and maybe other Italian regions. I don't know. I know it from I know this position from Venetian history specifically. But yes, that was the chief magistrate of Venice, the Doge. Sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly. And close relatives of ours could be the bonobos. Chimps? Chimps, I hope. Chimp, ape, I think chimp. Cover up in a shower. Cover up in a shower. Maybe a tarp? I mean, if this means a shower as in rainfall outdoors, it could be a tarpaulin. A tarp. I'm not very confident about that. Although outer looks right. What is this clue? Sunspot with a question mark. Sunspot. Outer banks? Somewhere you'd go to get some sun, maybe? Kind of speculating there. I'll have to check the crosses. As you might say, by some measure, I don't know. Not sure. What about this K? That looks enticing. Pricing word. Pricing word. I don't know. I'm not sure this is adding up to anything. What about this? Word with tie or belt. I don't know. City on the New York-Connecticut border. I'm not sure about that either. All right, I'm going to give up on this, this sunspot cross. Let's get back to the regular crossword. Auto download. So there's a question mark indicating some kind of pun or wordplay. It just occurred to me, I don't think we've seen too many of these this week, actually. I don't have very many memories on the top of my head of myself reciting that bit about the pun or wordplay indicator, but that means we should read this not in its surface meaning. I suspect what this means is that auto will refer to an automobile, a car. What might you download? I don't actually know. What about this? Includes surreptitiously, in a way. Probably ends with S. Oh, it could be BCCs, blind carbon copies. So includes invisibly on an email, essentially. And cry like a kid. Ball or what's 5 letters? I don't know. Here we have person you're with. The companion? No, that doesn't fit. Oh, person you're in with. I'm sorry. Person you're in with. I don't know. Something about being part of a sort of privileged community or something. West Coast school where Einstein once taught. I bet it's Caltech. Oops. California Polytechnic Institute. I think Caltech, a very extremely renowned technical school. Biblical mother of Levi and Judah. Is it Leah? Let's double check that. I'm not confident enough. Cry like a kid. Oh, I was thinking bleat, but I was thinking, yeah, but you wouldn't really say a child bleats. You'd say a farm animal bleats. But of course, in this case, that is what a kid refers to, a baby goat. So a little bit of misdirection there, because I think most people would not read it that way first. But it's a Saturday, so we have to be on the lookout for that sort of thing. Spanish pronoun. Ella? Uh-oh. NFL kicker Graham, who played for 14 teams. I'm not going to know this. Person you're in with, annoyed in slang. Annoyed in slang. Could end in Y, but the problem is I'm just not going to know about this NFL kicker Graham under any circumstances. That is tough. Christian Bale and Val Kilmer for 2. All right, well, they each played Batman, and so for 2 of them, That could be Batmen. That's very good. I wonder if Batmen has appeared in the crossword before. It's probably not sort of officially, it's probably not canonically approved to have the plural of Batman be Batmen, because I suppose fictionally there would only ever be one at a time. That's very funny. Cutesy term of affection. I don't know why the first thing that came to mind is baby cakes, a phrase I certainly never use myself, but the B is in there. Baby cakes. I don't know. It could be. What about this K? No, it's not. It could be baby something, though. That seems like a good start for a cutesy term of affection. I'll leave it in for now. I'll remember that since it's only half filled or even less than half filled, it's not confident. But a pro with stereotypically messy handwriting, the reason I didn't think baby cakes was correct is because I think this is a doctor. Stereotypically, when they write out the prescription, say, it will be unreadable. Okay, scheduled to land. Say it could be due in. Due in. Celebrity chef Burrell. I don't know. And here we have peacockish. I'm not sure. Be dandy or vain. Oh, vain. Yes, sorry. I was thinking of an example of war Ds, and vain came to mind. And in fact, that may be the answer. If one is peacockish, one is preening or vain, perhaps. Actress Noblezada of Broadway's Hadestown. I don't know. I've never seen Hadestown. I don't know who this would be. Ava, maybe? I mean, seems pretty plausible with that V there. Oh, boy. Here's two proper noun crosses, and they're both given names. That's interesting. That's sort of funny confluence. Revelations. So things that have been revealed. And what about this? Running mate of 2012. 2012. What is this referring to? It's not the U.S. presidential election, is it? Which is usually what this would suggest. Am I going? Oh, sorry. No, it's not. Or is it? I feel as though I'm losing my mind. I'm sorry. I have to move on. I can't get things straight. Nuge. Is that to sort of, what is that? Is that to sort of shunt someone over? What does that mean exactly? I'm not sure. When doubled, a 2010s dance craze. Oh, I sort of remember this being the nay-nay. Is that how you'd spell that? I think it is. Late comedian Bob Saget passed away recently. Must be. Microscopic could be teeny. Nuge. What is that? Charge. Name that's an anagram of unreal. All right. Well, we have the E and the N here. I could do this is my cryptic crossword strategy here. As I turn on the pencil tool, which button is off screen on my video framing, unfortunately, but I turn on my pencil tool and I usually type in the letters. I do this if I can't find the anagram myself. I haven't really tried now, but I'm just going to skip straight to my strategy to show you what I often do. So I have the E and the N in already, so I need to rearrange the other four letters of this word. So I'll usually start at the end of the word, and I'll type them in backwards, and then obviously skip over the ones that have already been used. And actually, yeah, this does tend to be pretty helpful. And I can see here, I'm only one swap away from spelling the name Lauren. So there we have it. We've anagrammed unreal, and it's a name, and it is Lauren. I've had to develop that kind of strategy as I've been doing cryptic crosswords recently, and anagrams do come up pretty frequently. I did solve another cryptic crossword here on the channel, so that was a few days ago if you're interested in watching me puzzle through that. And I did talk through it at greater length than I would an ordinary crossword to try and really explain and unpack how those relatively unusual cryptic crossword conventions work. Okay, so anyway, what was this? A big oaf. It could be a lug. Big lug, big oaf. On edge. I want this to be an H. On edge. Philosopher Watts. And nonsense song syllables. Could be tra-la-la. I don't know. What is this then? On edge. I don't know, maybe not. Cutesy term of affection. Baby. I don't know, maybe it's not baby. Non-starter. Let's just go back to solving the crossword. Look at this. I have just things scattered all over the grid. What a mess. Let's get back to the solving it sequentially. A wunderkind would be an ace, someone who's extremely sort of preternaturally good at something, I suppose, is what wunderkind would suggest. Now, what names could this be? NFL kicker Graham. I don't even know if Graham is a surname or a given name. Shane? Is there spelling of Shane that fits in here? If that were an I? No, that doesn't really look right. What about Y? Oh, yeah, it could be Shane. It sort of looks like a name. Annoyed in slang. And what is this? Person you're in with. Oh, a cellmate. You could be in prison. Okay, so that pronoun was Ella. Why was I not confident about that? I suppose this could be Shane with an E. Is this also a Spanish pronoun? I'll remember this is my weak cell if I have to come back to it if the crossword doesn't submit. Annoyed in slang. Oh, salty. Yes, that is true. People say you're salty if you're visibly annoyed by something. I think referring to salty tears, maybe. TV witch. Is this referring to Bewitched, maybe? The old sitcom? I'm not sure. What about this? Cutesy term of affection. Right, of course, cutesy term of affection. Non-starter. And irrefutable statement. God's truth? God's honest truth? Gospel truth? Yes, there it is. Gospel truth. All right. That fits. And openly discussing one's kinks, say. It sounds like sex positive to me. See, I should have just kept solving the crossword in order. I shouldn't get off on these jags. I should make sure before I start digging into corners and things, I should just try and do a first pass and get as many clues as I can get. And then once I've run out of those, then I can start really digging into these corners. I don't know why I do that. I suppose I do it because I do know. I do it because then I create some crosses and that throws me off my pattern because it can be useful to take a digression to, I don't know, take advantage of some crosses. So I guess there's no perfect way to do this. Anyway, part of the foxtrot. Is it a box step? Foxtrot is a dance. Use a shuttle, say. As you might say. And winter DC clock settings. This would be Eastern Standard Time. So we have that at least. What was this? We haven't looked at this yet. End of a waiting list. End of a waiting list. I'm not sure. Auto import. So I think many of us would read this initially as meaning some kind of software tool to automatically import data or something like that. But I think it probably, in this case, it's a bit of misdirection, and it probably refers to an imported car, maybe a BMW. I'm just guessing. But let's check the crosses. It makes waves. Moroccan quarter. I don't know. Maybe not BMW. Let's keep looking. Maybe it is. We'll come back to it. Use a shuttle, say. Nonsense song syllables. Magazine that's marketed to marketers. Oh, Ad Week? That's a magazine that presumably would be marketed to marketers. People in the advertising industry. Part of a foxtrot, so that could be box step. And as you might say, oh, so to speak. Why didn't I think of that? Yes, as you might say, so to speak. You could say an auto import, so to speak, indicating that it's maybe a slight pun or a bit of misdirection anyway. Cover up in a shower, so maybe it is tarp. Eggs Benedict recipe word. Eggs Benedict recipe word. Poach. Yes. The recipe could instruct you to poach an egg for your Eggs Benedict, which uses poached eggs on muffins with hollandaise sauce. Book with an eagle on its cover. Book with an eagle on its cover. I don't know. And here we have word with tie or belt. Here we have pricing word. Pricing word could be each. So you could price something at a given price per unit each. Oh, here's another auto download. I didn't remember that we had that. So here we have auto download with a question mark. Oh, no, sorry. I was thinking of auto import, unrelated. Yeah, these are unrelated. Sorry. We did see this earlier. Auto download, what is that? Spec? Do you download specs for a car? Seems sort of vague. Do amazingly in slang. That could be slay. You could say that person slayed. They did amazingly well. And book with an eagle on its cover. What is this? And word with tie or belt. Slack? Don't think so. Naughty you. Oh. Well, this could be tut, naughty you, or tisk, actually. Could be either of those. And those both look, actually, they both conceivably could work against their crosses, depending. So tisk or tut. Let's see. Boy, I'm really not sure about this area, am I? T seems a little bit more difficult here. I mean, you could spell elect, but I don't see very many other things you could spell. So maybe it is tisk. Oh, black tie or black belt. Sorry, there we go. Oof. That took me absolutely ages. So naughty you is tisk. And then what about this? Auto download. Oh, Uber. I was on the wrong track entirely. Uber is an app. I see. So it's an automobile-related download, which is the Uber app. All right, that was tricky, I thought. City on the New York-Connecticut border, Rye. I mean, that looks plausible. I don't know that city, but it seems reasonable. And then sunspot is outer space. Okay, it's more straightforward than I was making it. Where is the sun? It is literally in outer space. There we have it. Oh, a book with an eagle on its cover is a U.S. passport. I see. Of course, that book is a little bit of misdirection. It's obviously literally true. But of course, I think when we see book, most of us will think of a different sort of thing. But indeed, it is a U.S. passport. Use a shuttle, say. Bat? They bat a shuttle in badminton? I don't think so. Use a shuttle, say. Why do I not see what that is? There's so few options. I don't know. Let's keep looking. Long. Cutesy term of affection. Oh, buttercup. There we go. All right, that took me ages. I was initially mislaid by my assumption that it would start with baby, which was a reasonable guess, but not a great thing to simply assume. Non-starter. Oh, it could be a dud. That idea is a total dud. It's a non-starter. And TV witch. Oh, no, maybe not. Because this actually, now that I see this, it looks like Sabrina, the teenage witch. Much more recent than Bewitched. So what is this? A non-starter. I don't know. Boy, dud was really, really appropriate. I don't know. Boy, why do I not see what that is? Very frustrating. What is this? Part of the palate. Oh, I haven't seen this yet. The uvula. So in your mouth, part of your everything going on in there. Nonsensical song syllables. Ah, so this is tra-la-la. After all. Charge. Oh, if you charge something, you allege it. If you make a charge, an allegation. Oh, Alan Watts. Oh, so on edge is angsty. Well, oh, yes, I put an H in there. That was a bad idea. Shouldn't have done that. Why do I do that? Shouldn't have. Revelations, eye-openers. Here we go. All right. This puzzle's finally closing out. Nuge. What is that? Is that a jest? I'm not sure what this word is. Long and celebrity chef Burrell, actress Noblezada. Well, it'll be Eve or Eva. I'm guessing Eva. Anne Burrell, maybe. I mean, it's a name. I don't know. Oh, sorry, Tim Ryan. Sorry, why did this running mate thing? That is bizarre that I just blanked out on that. Very sorry about that. So this must be Celebrity Chef Burrell Ann. And accumulate, could be run up. You could run up a bill, accumulate a bill, run up a total. Long. Wow, boy, I really feel as though I'm missing some obvious things today, clearly. Oh, end of a waiting list would be dessert menu. So waiting in this case meaning service at a restaurant. You're being waited on. And the end of the list in that context would be a menu. And the end of it is the dessert menu. Okay, so what is this? Long. Oh, slim to none. Wow, okay. Even with every cross but one, I found that tricky for some reason. Sorry, I'm sure many of you have been seeing quite a few of these answers long before I did because some of them were almost there. So I'm very, very sorry if you've been yelling at the screen about this. So slim to none meaning long odds. The odds are long. The odds are slim to none. Wow. All right. That really, I was just not parsing that correctly. Okay. Part of the foxtrot. It looks like box step, doesn't it? So use a shuttle, say, tat. Sorry, is that related to is that the instrument that you would use to create a tattoo? I'm not sure. It makes waves. Sea something? Waves in the sea? Auto import. Was in prison, did time. Oh, a Kia is an auto import, is an imported car. All right, so that finally works. And then okay in a way. And fall for it. Oh, could be bite. I'll bite. Well, you wouldn't say I'll bite because then it would mean I fall for it. Well, you wouldn't say it in this context, but you'd say I think I've got a scam and I think that person will bite. They will fall for it. I couldn't agree more. Amen, probably. And Driven group. Could be a team of oxen or something. That seems a little too vague. Driven group. What is this? Seawater? It makes waves? Seawater? Yeah, I suppose it does. I suppose it makes waves in the sense that it is formed into waves. It's as opposed to, I was reading this as the it in question is the thing that creates the impulse that forms the waves. You know, the moon, the tides make waves, but no, this is the thing that comprises waves, the seawater. So it is still accurate. It's just not the version of makes I was thinking. Fix as text could be emend. We've seen this slightly less common version of this word emend rather than amend with an A. Emend with an E is only used with text, which is why they say fix as text, whereas amend with an A, you can apply that to other things as well. Okay, in a way. Could be stamp. So to stamp something, to give it the okay, and that makes this look like box step, part of the foxtrot. So I'm not sure. This must be a tattoo-related thing. And this looks like Casbah. Yeah, Moroccan quarter, Casbah. So that does look right. And then driven group is a herd. That makes much more sense. You drive a herd, not just a group. More specific version of that, which would be a herd of animals. Great, and that's the puzzle. So I did not, fortunately, need to revisit good old Shane over here. Graham Shane, presumably this is. This looks like more like a surname than a given name to me. So yeah, I found that a tricky crossword, but I suppose I expect the Saturday to be pretty tricky in this way. So I don't know. I don't know if this is tougher than an ordinary Saturday or if this is what a Saturday is supposed to be. I feel as though this week has thrown off my barometer in that regard. Let me know how you would rate this Saturday difficulty-wise relative to a typical Saturday. I found it quite difficult. As you witnessed just now, of course. Yeah, there's some good misdirection. Auto download, even with the question mark, the pun or wordplay indicator, this did take me some time. And then book with an eagle on its cover, that book, I wasn't looking in the right place for that. There were all sorts of things throughout this puzzle. And then there were things like this, on edge, angsty. I mean, I don't necessarily know that I suppose that's a fair enough definition, but I was just not I wasn't thinking of the right sorts of letters to put me on track to arrive there. So I think I was just sort of off today. I just completely forgot about the existence of Tim Ryan for some reason, this running mate of 2012 vice presidential candidate. So I had some moments where I really blanked out. And then slim to none. This was utterly fascinating. What was the last letter? I think it was this M, perhaps. Or no, this S. Oh, right. It was. I never looked back at this non-starter. Anyway, there was one letter here. I found the arrangement of letters completely baffling. And of course, again, a bit of misdirection here with long. Long odds, of course, a perfectly valid usage of the word long, but definitely not the first or the second assumption, right? The first assumption would probably be long as an antonym of short. And then the second assumption would probably be long as in desire. I long for that thing. Long odds, my brain was not going there at all. And then non-starter sub, again, great misdirection here. I think most of us see non-starter and we think, that's a non-starter. That's not happening. It's not a good idea. But no, in this case, it means someone who isn't a first stringer, someone who's not starting in a game, for instance. And so you might use a substitute. Someone you're putting in a substitute. They weren't part of the starting lineup. So all sorts of things in this puzzle that were quite withholding, and I struggled throughout it a fair amount. Let me know how you fared. And on that note, yesterday I thought, and I think many of you thought as well, was a little tough for a Friday also. So let's discuss some clues from that very puzzle. There were a number of comments. So Spikel Thing says, talking about US-UK differences, and this was, I think, in reference to rice, pilaf, and pilau, depending on US-UK common spelling. Speichel Thing says, as a UK nurse, it's always medical terminology that catches me out. The one in this crossword is edema, which is spelled with an O in the UK at the beginning, so O-E-D-E-M-A. Others that spring to mind are anemia, anesthetic, pediatric, orthopedic, and let's not forget feces and diarrhea. There's also the EKG, ECG difference. Yes, that was fascinating when I finally learned via the crossword that ECG and EKG are exactly the same thing. And so, yes, those differences all tend to be different, mostly in the sort of AE ligature that's used in the UK spelling, as opposed to typically just an E in the US, or in some cases there's the OE. And then Speichel Thing wraps up. Also, Doc in Back to the Future is Dr. Emmett Brown, so an appropriate comment from a nurse. And Robert Stevenson explains that a swath would be a row of crop that has been mown and is now lying in a line, e.g. oilseed rape is sometimes cut to ripen it and then picked up by a combine to thresh it. A crop that has been mown but not yet harvested, e.g. silage, would be said to be lying in the swath. There we go. Really good knowledge. And I will remember that now. That swath is a more specific term than I purely knew it. Dances with Logic explains that the Huey helicopter, which I recognized by its nickname in yesterday's crossword, is called that because the original designation of the Iroquois helicopter was HU-1, which people would pronounce phonetically. This phenomenon also gave us Jeep from GP, a general-purpose vehicle. There we have it. Kathy Swope explains that Bambi is based on the 1923 book Bambi, A Life in the Woods, by Austrian author and hunter Felix Salten. So a little bit of overlap there with Walden, A Life in the Woods as well. And Bill the Cat explains, a dugout canoe is the simplest type of boat you can make. You just take a big log, strip the bark off, carve out or burn away the middle, and then push it into the water. So thank you. I think dugout as canoe was the one in yesterday's puzzle. I mean, there were a few things that I didn't have a lot of knowledge around in yesterday's puzzle, but I do remember dugout and canoe being the one that was sort of baffling to me. So thank you, Bill the Cat, for that explanation. James McDickey explained that as well and pointed out that the AEC is the Atomic Energy Commission. And then Richard Lawrenson followed up that the AEC was renamed the NRC, the Nuclear Regulatory Agency, in 1974. And that's it, finally, that marathon of corrections and explanations and simply additional interesting context. So thank you to everybody who contributed some of those. There was a lot of it yesterday, and it was all very interesting, as usual. Sorry I sort of powered through it. There was quite a volume. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for making it to the end. And please do subscribe to this channel if you've been enjoying these videos. Very much appreciate that. It's the only way I really have to spread the word about this channel. So thank you to everybody who has done that, either through helping out but with likes and subscriptions, or through telling somebody about it directly or through your online community of choice. Thanks to everybody who's done any of those things. I do appreciate it. And thank you to everybody who has backed the Patreon campaign for any length of time, for any amount. I appreciate that very much as well. And I'll be back tomorrow for the Sunday puzzle. I'm guessing certainly will be easier than this one, but also longer. It's a big, long grid, a big Sunday morning solve. So do come back for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Saturday. Take care.